But Harry Kane, yes, I suppose if you're going to give him one excuse, it could be it was a quick turnaround from the England match on Wednesday night. Having a lunchtime kickoff on a Saturday, but everyone was international break. I don't think you can use that for one player, but I think that probably the best way I can say it is you probably could have put a cardboard cutout of Harry Kane up front yesterday, and it really wouldn't have made much of a difference. That was how poor he was, and you could quite rightly say there was no service. The service was embarrassing. There was no service into him whatsoever. But what I would say about Harry Kane is we hold Harry Kane to a higher standard, or certainly I do, because as he showed last season, most assists in the Premier League, Harry Kane is also your playmaker. He is also your creator. He's the man that makes things happen as well. And for me, I still will always maintain Harry Kane is world class, but I do wonder whether just the thing that stops him maybe being recognised by everyone in like the top bracket is when you really need him to take a game by the scruff of the neck. Sometimes he's not there. And look, all big players do have games like that. But I just felt yesterday for me was another of those examples, and they crop up sometimes with Harry Kane, where you're just crying out for him just to step up, just to be that man that just says, come on, I'm class, follow what I can do and I'll do it. Take the ball, set things up. And yes, it may be that Ali and Lucas's runs in front of him were not good enough. There wasn't players for, like I said about the movement, there wasn't nothing to pass to. But I just feel he's that good. He can be that good, Harry Kane, that really, we have seen him do it before. He can take games where Spurs are struggling and just create something out of nothing. Even if it's a shot from distance, like you saw against Poland for England. He can just make things suddenly happen. I just felt yesterday, he just, it was just non-existent. I mean, it was the first time in his, I think, career, I think it may have even been, certainly in the Premier League, but I think maybe his career, where he had not touched the ball in the opposition box once, or even had a shot in a game where he's played 90 minutes in. That says it all. Absolutely says it all. Some people will probably say, oh, he's just so upset he didn't get his move, and it's psychologically he's not there. I just think he's just not sharp yet. I don't think the start of the season helped him in any way. I think he needs minutes under his belt. I don't know whether he'll play against Rennes in midweek, but for me, I think he should, because I think he needs maybe an hour just to find his sharpness again. Even for England, I don't think he looked particularly sharp at all. And Spurs need him to be sharp. Like I said earlier with Nuno's start to the season, I think Tottenham with Harry Kane in it, whatever, I've seen some people going down this line of Spurs are better without Harry Kane. They're not. You've just kind of seen scenarios where it's worked for them because of just the team they were playing or something. Harry Kane is one of the best players in the world. But I'd apply that to a sharp and fit and fully focused Harry Kane. And, Poch's team had a lot of terrific players in it, but ultimately it was at its best really when Harry Kane was flying. Same with Mourinho. Kane pulled Mourinho out of a lot of tough holes, I think, in matches. And, he will do the same for Nuno. But yesterday, my word, it was so poor. And he cannot have gone away from that game blaming others. I think he has to blame himself as well. I'm sure you've seen it. Where Lucas Moura was lying kind of stricken on the floor. I think maybe it was Gallagher had just caught the top of his... so it was his heel, wasn't it? It looked pretty sore. It really did. And he was lying on the floor. Palace broke up the pitch, and Zaha got away down the left-hand side, and he was flying past. He was about to fly past Tanganga, get into the box, and it probably would have resulted in a goal. So Tanganga did, which is something that, remember Mourinho calling out for his players to do, which was just commit a cynical foul. He did. I think he just kind of used his arm, just essentially went like that. It was cynical as they come. It was yellow card worthy. It was taking one for the team. It was the kind of thing that on 9 out of 10 occasions, it would just be like the crowd would go mad, the player on the floor would go like referee, and his Tanganga's teammates would have patted him on the back and say, cheers for that, you kind of bailed us out. Cynical as they come, and they are incredibly frustrating. But what happened on this occasion was Zaha, which he has a habit of being utterly outraged. He reminds me a little bit of Richarlison in that respect, of everything is the worst possible thing that's happened to him. Look, I get it. He probably gets hacked down so much because of the skills he's got. He probably gets taken out so much. But his reaction for me was so over the top. It was incredible. Honestly, he was very lucky. He was swinging his arms around and everything. He was very lucky. Nothing really connected with Tanganga. And there's an image that I use in the story today where he is holding Tanganga by the throat. I presume he's pushing him away, but essentially Zaha did a lot of the things that I think other players, you could maybe argue would go as far. He got a yellow, maybe. The whole raising hands nature. Like I say, if he connected with any of the swinging he did at the start, I think he might have been off. And what Tanganga did was, if anyone's ever met Tanganga, I've been very fortunate to interview him a few times. He is the quietest guy. He is very well brought up, amazing family around him, very religious guy, talks about religion as well. His face when he saw what Zaha was doing, honestly, it was just like Incredible Hulk kind of almost was switched on. And he did this thing, which even in the moment was actually quite mature, was he just did this, like this kind of bear hug around Zaha and pinned his arms down as if to say, like, stop trying to get me kind of thing. And it was quite clever because he didn't raise his hand. There was no pushing back, anything that could have got him more than a yellow himself. Zaha was just like, there was a moment you saw Zaha like, whoa, okay, this guy could absolutely take me down. But with Tanganga, the switch had still been flipped. The adrenaline was coursing through him. And although he made the right decision in that moment, you could still see, well, it was only 5 minutes on. He made a terrific interception, but he was still like absolutely buzzing. You know what it is, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, when the absolute adrenaline is going through your body and just sometimes you make a stupid decision. And that was exactly what he did. He made a great interception, strode out with the ball, tried to pass it to Harry Winks. The ball bounced off Conor Gallagher and just kind of was in that loose area of don't go for it. It's just too far. But his brain it was too much adrenaline coursing through him. Leapt in for the ball, and Ayew got there just first, took him out. And I saw some people saying he didn't deserve the yellow card. He did. I'm sorry, he did. First one was definitely a yellow card because it was a cynical foul. And second one, he went in late and took a guy out. It was a stupid lunge to make. It was. And he will know it. And I just hope that Nuno and he both see a hell of a lot of positives before that. Because, I told you before, Tanganga told me just before the season started that he really did want to play centre-back this season if he could. And I thought, as a centre-back, I thought he was superb. Some people sometimes have concerns about his height, but I felt his spring is so good. He wins a lot of headers. And I just hope that this hasn't ruined his chance to play at centre-back again. Obviously, he'll miss the Chelsea game now. I wouldn't be stunned if... I think he'll have to play against Rennes, probably with Rodon again. But yeah, I just thought it was so unfortunate. And of course, I think the game pretty much for Spurs was heading towards only one conclusion. It might have gone to a 0-0 until the daft kind of penalty incident. But I thought for me, Rodon and Tanganga, there were positives there. And like I said, I don't want to just say it was a completely negative performance because I think there were. And yes, I know it's weird that I'm saying positives about a guy who got himself sent off, but hopefully you understand what I mean.